Welcome back to a podcast. Today, joining us is the full crew plus another special guest. Myself, Jason, Griffin, Wyatt, Larranz, and Soup. Say hi, everyone.
Hello.
Howdy. We back.
The
We
boys
back.
are back.
Full squad. Yes. We got a squad out here. Oh,
Hell yeah.
God. You know who doesn't have a squad? Our backfield. That's who does. Oh, okay. Two.
Ouch.
Oh.
So,
Everything is set.
again, everyone, welcome back to another OPA podcast this evening or this morning or whenever you're listening to the podcast or watching the video. As I mentioned, the full crew is back, and today we'll be recapping the Purdue game we had 2 weeks ago. As last week, like we mentioned before, no podcast, and it was a bye week. Then preview our home matchup against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Then move on to some additional predictions / other items related to Gopher football. And then we'll cap it off with some hot takes or other football sport tangents as a last segment. So first segment, boys, we defeated the Purdue Boilermakers in a close game, 20-13, going 3-2 overall in our record and going 1-1 in conference play. Quick stats from our boys in maroon and gold. Tanner Morgan was only 9 for 18 at 169 yards.
Nice
Indeed.
Yeah. Nice.
One touchdown, no interceptions. QBR is 62. In terms of rushing, Trey Potts had 15 carries, 78 yards, one touchdown. Cole Kramer, our new Wildcat quarterback, had 8 carries for 32 yards. Marquise Irvin, 6 carries, 15 yards. And then Tanner had 3 carries for 6 yards. For receiving, Michael Brown-Stevens was 2 receptions, 105 yards. Crab was 2 receptions for 40 yards. Brevin Spanford, 1 reception for 13. Cole Kieft, 2 for 8. Daniel Jackson, 2 for 3. In terms of fumble recoveries, Val Martin had a fumble recovery. Our leading tackler on defense was Jack Gibbons, but close behind it was Coney Durr, Justice Harris, Tease Time, Boye Mafe. Justin Wally, our freshman cornerback, has been pretty solid too. Tyler Newman got the 1 interception as well. Then for Wyatt, special teams, Matthew Trickett was 2 for 2 on field goals, 2 for 2 on extra points. And then Mark Crawford was also special teams player of the week with 6 punts, averaging 51.3 yards, with the long being 60, pinning Purdue behind their 10-yard line.
We take small victories. We take those.
So where do you guys want to start off with this game?
I think Tanner had a better day than the stat sheet says. I think there was a few uncharacteristic drops from guys like Chris Ottman-Bell that really would have made him look a lot better. Because like that one, they ran like that little skinny post that Ottman-Bell dropped for like 7 yards. I mean, if he catches that, it's him versus the safety, the corner for like 6.
It was going directly to the house. I think that was almost the exact same play that they did in 2019.
Yeah.
Against Purdue. That Chris got that 60 yards later, hitting his head on the goalpost. Stop dropping passes, Chris. God bless you.
I think that was a torrential rain for them, but hopefully they're a little more focused this week, looking the football in. I'm sure they will be. So, but I just think, everybody was really hard on Tanner during that Bowling Green game. I didn't really think he did that poorly that game, and I thought he had a much, much better day even against Purdue. So,
yeah. I will note this as well. In terms of total yards, Purdue did. So Purdue outmatched us total yards with. So we had 294 total. They had 448. For time of possession, we had only 26.5 minutes versus their 33.5. But Purdue committed 2 turnovers, the interception late in the game, and then that fumble. And Purdue had almost twice as many first downs. We had 12 and they had 28.
We played them Iowa style.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure a lot of that was on the game plan because Purdue has the dragon that is David Bell, who will catch everything thrown his direction, even in a monsoon. I think a lot of it was like, yo, we're going to play off, let them get their yard. But then as soon as they got into that, like, 30 to the end zone type area, the defense stiffened up. Our safeties didn't have to go as far in order to deal with run support. And yeah, our defensive line did what they do best, choosing violence.
Yep. Anything else to add? Going once, going twice.
I think that's a question.
Okay, awesome. All right, next up, we have we return home to I almost said it. We're back to Huntington Bank Stadium.
TCF Bank Stadium. I don't care. It's TCF Bank Stadium. I don't care.
Yeah, they're not paying me.
True. We return back for home play against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. So this is see some quick items regarding Nebraska. So they're currently 3-4 overall record-wise, and they're about they're 5th in the Big Ten West with one victory in the Big Ten, but then the rest of the losses are to Illinois, Michigan State, and Michigan. Their one victory coming to a down year Northwestern, 56-7.
Northwestern down bad.
Very bad.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be a long year for Pat Fitzgerald in Evanston, man.
Yeah. Their starting quarterback from Nebraska, Adrian Martinez, is 118, 178 passes completed at 1,754 yards passing with a 66.3% completion percentage, with a season rating so far as QB at 162.4. And also, Adrian Martinez is their lead rusher at 88 carries for 450 yards for 10 tutties. But if you want to say running backs, their best running back is Ramir Johnson at 72 carries for 298 yards with 2 touchdowns this season. And then their lead receiver is, I apologize if I butcher this guy's name, Samori Tua, 26 receptions for 520 yards with 3 touchdowns with a long, which was 70. And then their kicker is 26-29 on extra points, and then 5 for 10 on field goals. And then I don't know about their defense, so yeah. Where do you want to start with this, boys?
I'll start with saying that Nebraska, playing 3 ranked teams in the past 4 weeks, it has been interesting to see how much I think better they've played in some of these last couple games. It was just kind of funny to hear about Frost at the beginning of the season talking about like throwing out half of his playbook because they figured they were going to send like 4 linemen or 3 linemen instead of 4. Like, that's just bad coaching on his part. But I mean, you talk about staying in it with OU. I kind of thought he was going to get fired because I thought they were going to get blown out. All right, they kept it within 7. Michigan State lost by a field goal. Michigan had the lead, lost it in typical Nebraska fashion. But I mean, you're talking 3 top 25 teams, and you're only losing by 1 possession. The last couple weeks have me a little bit more worried, but I still think that, I mean, it's the Gophers, and everyone thought, well, not everyone, but a good amount of people thought we were going to lose to Purdue, but I also thought Purdue was overvalued at 3-1, and Tanner's stats against Purdue have been insane, and our rushing against Purdue has been insane. So, I mean, I'd say I'm a little bit more worried, but I'm looking forward to this game, and I think as long as we continue to do what we do, I don't think there should be any hiccups, and hopefully Jake Paulson's not dropping, or Brevin Spanford's not dropping, wide open passes.
Or having him called back on holding penalties.
Yeah. Okay. I've been waiting because I can't stand Nebraska so much. Okay, let's start here. The one game that I've watched from Nebraska that I say very impressive, Michigan State. I don't find their Oklahoma game to be that impressive. One, because you know who kept the game closer than Oklahoma? Tulane had it closer than Nebraska. In fact, Tulane probably should have beat Oklahoma. It was either Tulane or Tulsa. One of them should have beaten Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure it was Tulane. You know who else was closer? Kansas State was also closer. So I'm just out here like, y'all want moral victories for that? Because, like, if y'all gonna be top 25, then Tulane should be in the top 10. Cool. Michigan, you know what? I'll give them some props for that. Should I say something about the fact that Michigan should have been up by more, but their quarterback literally got stepped on the 1 yard line to put his knee down instead of that being a touchdown? You know what? I'm not going to go there either. Am I going to say something about the fact that their first 46-yard touchdown pass, there were 5 men in the backfield? Should I say something about that? I'm not going to say nothing about that. But you know what? Michigan State, I will give them. I have literally no idea how they lost that game outside of somehow, inexplicably having a worse special teams than us. But you know what? It is what it is. Adrian Martinez is their best player. I would argue he's the second best quarterback in the Big Ten. Have no qualms with that. Samori Toure is number 2 in the Big Ten in receiving yards. I would like to put an addendum on receiving yards and say, who did he put all these yards up against? Running backs, hit Adrian Martinez. That's the goal here. Hit him. We're going to get Boye Mafe versus Bryce Benhart Part 2. Just hit him. Keep hitting him. That's all.
That's a really good game plan, honestly. I think Adrian Martinez is going to be the real X factor for Nebraska here. He's sort of been the driving force of at least their offense, probably their entire team all season. And hit Adrian Martinez is going to be really key. Shake him off of his game. If he's not playing well, Nebraska's not going to play well.
You already know that he's down for at least one turnover in the game. You know it's gonna happen. Illinois strip fumble, Oklahoma interception, Michigan State interception in overtime on a slant pass. You're not Kirk Shiraka. You can't do that. Michigan interception and a fumble. Like, Boye Mafe strip sack, baptized Bryce Benhart. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm like, their defense. So first of all, their defense is ranked like 44th in the country, which, to give Purdue credit, Purdue's ranked 15th right now after playing us. And you say they're overvalued at 3-1. I mind you that they also beat Oregon State, who is 4-1 right now, and beat the dog crap out of USC and Stanford. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Their defense is all right. I thought they had a pretty decent rushing defense until Michigan's running backs averaged almost 6 and 7 yards per rush. I mean, what are we supposed to do with that? What are we supposed to do with that? They also don't have a pass rush. Their secondary is probably the strength of their defense, but I'm like, I am not that concerned. I'm really not.
Yeah, and like, everybody wants to talk about how they hung with, both Michigan State and Michigan and Oklahoma. Well, one, Oklahoma doesn't field a defense. Two, like, Michigan State's played Northwestern, Youngstown State, or Miami, Western Kentucky, and Rutgers. Michigan's played, I got it here. Michigan, where are you? Michigan's played Western Michigan, Washington, Northern Illinois, Rutgers, and a bad Wisconsin team this year. Like, yeah, these teams are top 25 teams, but it's not like they're going out there beating these insane teams. These are teams that are preseason top 15, top 20 that have just hung around because they haven't lost. Like, respect to what Mel Tucker's doing in Michigan State and whatnot, but like, none of it's just really been impressive to me. Like, Nebraska gave up 460 yards of offense to Michigan last week. Like, you can't do that. Like, no matter who you play, you can't give up that much offense. Even if and Michigan's not a 460-yard offense team. That's not even what they want to do. They want to get like 350 and bleed you out at the end of the game. They're not even trying to put up 460, and they did. So, I mean, I think when it comes to like game plan and whatnot for Nebraska, I think you're going to see a lot of guys like, I really like what I saw from Jaquandis Burns at the end of the game against Purdue. I think you're going to see him out there. I don't know if Mariano Story-Marin's healthy or not, but I think they need an athletic linebacker like your Jack Gibbons, your Jaquandis Burns, your Braylon Oliver to just play a zone spy on Adrian Martinez. He'll give you the ball. Don't worry. He'll give you the ball. Just read him. All you have to do is sit down in that zone. If he breaks the pocket, go get him. That's your job. I mean, you're gonna see a lot of quote unquote 11-on-11 football, I think, this weekend, where it's just hat on a hat. Everybody, you've got this guy, and one linebacker's just gonna be matched up on Adrian all day. And I think that's the right way to play him, because he's gonna feel that guy after a couple reps of seeing that dude drop back and just stare him down. He's not going to want to throw over the middle of the field. He's not going to want to break the pocket. If he does, he's going to know someone's coming after him. Like, that's the way you get. I mean, he's a good quarterback, and that's the way you get to these good quarterbacks is you got to put someone, you just got to assign someone to him. Don't overthink it. I think Joe Rossi's done a great job generating pressure with 4, too. I think he continues to do that. You keep playing those twist and stunt games up front. I think that's going to work really well for you if you get that offensive line moving around on defense. So when it comes to, like, what do I think of Nebraska in general? Like, I mean, it's the Big Ten. Like, everybody's going to put up a fight. Nebraska's been playing up to their competition every week. And honestly, we do that too. We're another classic example of that middle-of-the-road Big Ten team who should probably be better based on what the roster says, but you always have a close game because that's just what we want. And, I think it's going to come down to the wire, and I don't feel great about that because, you just don't like to sweat these games out, but...
Also, reduce the amount of heart attacks as us Gopher fans.
Yeah, that'd be great. Wouldn't that be nice?
Y'all remember that Colorado game? Anybody remember that?
That was fun.
Yeah.
Let's do that again.
It was like, I was like, wow, there goes Trey. And there goes Trey again. Oh, look, it's Chris Bell. Hey, Dalen Wright, look at you just streaking out. Is that Daniel Jackson in the end zone? Love to see it.
There's Bucky. There's Kai.
Bucky. He said, zoom, zoom. Then Kai Thomas just said, I'm just big. Right. Hey.
And Bryce Williams says, let me fumble.
You know what? Ooh. Oh gosh. So here's the shtick. I talk all my crap about Nebraska, but I say that knowing fully well that I am very upset that last year they got to play us without 30 dudes, and 3 or 4 starters on the O-line. And this year, they get to play us without our All-American running back, Mo Ibrahim. And then Trey Potts, who was 3rd in the Big Ten in rushing. Like, y'all get some freshmen. That's what y'all get. Freshmen and then Bryce Williams.
Also, Curtis Dunlap
I don't think
Jr.
you're going
is
to
in the
see.
transfer portal.
Yeah, he hasn't played well. That's fine.
Yeah.
Good luck to him.
Well,
He ain't been right since he tore his ACL.
Which sucks. I mean, you don't like to see that, but it's college football, man. Like, you got to perform at some point.
I mean, Curtis, he's been flirting with the portal for years. This ain't the first time.
Yeah.
Heck, it probably won't be the last. He's just the water.
You know, I had a random thought where I'm just like, would this game even have been in question at all had we ever, at any point in this season, had our full assortment of toys?
Well,
And
I think we all would have seen. I think Mike Sanford's like still in denial personally that Mo Ibrahim is gone, because he's still calling the offense as if you have Muhammad Ibrahim back there with all the inside run and just these shot plays down the field, which it works if you have a guy like Muhammad Ibrahim, which even if you're running into those stacked boxes, you're getting your 4 or 5 yards of carry. It works, and he's a great pass protector too. But I really want to see this week, because I think you're going to see Bucko Irving and Kai Thomas as your 1-2. I don't think you're going to see Bryce Williams. I think Bryce Williams is going to be your special teamer, and I really want to see them get these guys involved in the passing game, because make Tanner's life easier, and then I think if you spread this Nebraska defense out horizontally with some of these swing passes, angle routes, some of these, quick stuff to the running backs and stuff, underneath stuff, that you can accomplish what you're still trying to accomplish with this running game, which is pulling these players up within the first 5 to 8 yards of the line of scrimmage and going over their top of their heads with your deep threats like Ottman Bell, Daniel Jackson, Dalen Wright should hopefully play too.
He's back at team activities. At the end of the bye week.
I just think that if you're the offensive coordinator, play caller, you accomplish the same things you're trying to do with establishing this run game by incorporating the backs in the passing game. And I think it'll just open up so many more things for you. And I think we saw them dip into that a little bit against Purdue. You saw some of the short routes. You saw them look at Brevin. You saw them look at O'Keefe over the middle. I like all that stuff.
Oh, that tight end screen, even though it got called back, that tight end screen that went
It's
for
deadly.
like 20-something yards.
That's the second one. That's the second one that's got called back on a holding penalty this year, too.
Oh, as soon as we figure out how not to hold, that play was sexy. Oh, gosh. I was like, tight end? Is that you? Is that you? I love to see it. I love to see it.
That's the other thing with Brevin. That's the other main pain point I have in this offense is why do they seem so afraid to use this man? Why is he not running any bump and run up the seam? Just a quick little check your block, release, go up the seam, and just catch a ball and run. It's a lot of really basic concepts, and they just decide not to do them because they'd rather leave, a 6 quote unquote lineman plus a tight end and have 7 blockers. And it's just that's great, but you need to put something else on tape. You know what I mean? So right now, I think they've spent I hate that football teams do this, and this is one of my number one pet peeves about all NFL coaching, all college football coaching in general, is that coaches will sacrifice the efficiency of their offense to put certain looks on tape to set up stuff against other opponents in the future. And it's what's the point? Who cares? The other guys in the booth get paid to coach against you too. You think they see this look with 6 linemen and extra tight end, and they don't think you have, a deep seam shot to the check release tight end schemed up. Like, that's just not in the playbook. Like, everybody knows you have that tucked away. But
Counterpoint, though. But then why is it always wide open when we finally use it? I mean, like last year against
I think that's a product of 25 rushes within the first 2 quarters. Right?
That's fair, but they know, just because they know it's going to happen, that don't mean they don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, what are we waiting for now? We're waiting for that crispy package throw down the field. Like, that's what I'm waiting for, actually having a legitimate quarterback as a Wildcat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
yeah. So
Cole Kramer.
Cole Kramer is in, just so you know, his only passing attempts were 2 attempts back in 2019 when we lost to Iowa and Kinnick when Tanner went down with a concussion.
AJ Epinesa still haunts my dreams.
There's a reason that man's playing on Sundays.
You right.
Buffalo looking good, though.
Sam Shaluta, I hope he didn't go back on the bus after that game. I hope he didn't.
He's been fine.
Because you saw that Bowling Green game.
That was a group effort of failure.
They said, "Oh, we coming after you."
Yeah.
I'm like, how you gonna be a 5th, 6th-year senior and still a liability in pass pro?
But also, I want to mention this too. Tanner's been taking more opportunities. Like if there's if coverage, like in his reads, if coverage is solid on the defense, he may just take the ball, tuck it, and get a couple yards too, or a few yards. Except the one where he fumbled, but other than that,
which was his longest run.
Yeah. But other than that,
also, what are the slide rules? What are these sliding rules? I don't understand.
I don't either, man. At this point.
So like in baseball, if you steal a base and you slide, does it matter if you touch the base? Because you started your slide 15 feet before the base, so technically, aren't you still 15 feet before the base? If you're going by the way college football refs think about sliding? Like, what? It just doesn't make any, like, intuitive sense that, like, oh, because you started your slide here, this is where you're down. It's like, okay, well, like, dude's literally floating. Like, none of his body has touched the ground. I thought that, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. That's a fair argument about the slide rules.
Yeah. But unfortunate news, so we mentioned earlier Trey Potts, to all of our fans listening in or watching. Trey Potts was hospitalized after the Purdue game late in the 4th quarter. It was checked on the sideline and was taken to an Indiana hospital after the game. Was there for almost a week and has returned to the team, and unfortunately he's out for the remainder of the season. So as Larranz mentioned earlier, we lost our All-American in the first game, and then now we just lost Trey Potts, which was our 3rd best rusher in the Big Ten. So
I'm just glad he's okay. Yeah. I was worried.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's so scary.
I legitimately didn't even notice, because I went back and I rewatched the game, and you see him get hit. He got up. He went to the sideline. You never saw him again. But it wasn't something that, like, you immediately see.
No, you figure we're up. Let's get Bucko some reps. Like, he's been good. Give Trey a rest. Yeah.
So that was something that's really unfortunate, and it's crazy how this is. It almost reminds me of like 2018-esque. Right, you remember it was like Shannon Brooks get injured, and then Rodney Smith's second freaking play of the Fresno State game tears his ACL. Then Antoine goes down in the first game of Big Ten play against Maryland. And it just feels like this is another one of those things. Like
and what came of that? Muhammad Ibrahim, right?
If Bucko or Kai Thomas, who people forget that in Kansas, Kai Thomas was a literal superhero. If one of them wants to like come out and just destroy everything, I will be just so happy. But there is something to be said about when you are a true freshman and having this moment. For Mo, it wasn't too big for him, right?
No, I think Mo also had a better body type for it as a freshman. Like, you look at both Bucko and Kai, they probably need, I would say, another 15-ish pounds before I'm really feeling good about those guys between the tackles.
Man, I didn't think that about Kai, though.
No, Kai is like
I was looking at Kai run, and I was like, wait a second.
No, he's moving those legs, but I'm just saying he needs a little more meat, I think, if he wants to stand up to the kind of Big Ten workload that I think they want to give him.
And outside of all of that, did we what about Cam Wiley?
Paging Cam Wiley.
Like you remember that dude? He had like a 65
You don't even see him on special teams anymore. You don't even see him on special teams anymore.
What?
He used to be the return man.
Yeah, one of the great decisions from Rob Wenger. We love that. We love this man being on special teams.
And now it's Brock Annexstad.
Hey, at least Brock catches the ball, man.
Yeah.
You know, never mind. Anyway, so I am very curious then now because like I'm finally starting to see what the coaches were trying to see in Mike Brown Stevens because I didn't get it.
Dude flies.
But then I saw that Purdue game and I'm like, why is this man wide open? Why is this man wide open again? And so I think it's going to be really interesting seeing how they mixed up our wide receiver groups because obviously Dalen Wright is a big play waiting to happen. Crab is Crab.
This is the first game where they'll all be together. You'll have a fully healthy receivers room for this game.
Ain't that crazy?
How do you think Tanner feels about that?
I think Tanner would love that. He's like this. Wait a second. Is that my wide receiver one? Wait, is that my wide receiver two? Are they on the field at the same time? We love to see it.
Yeah.
We love to see it.
So with that in mind, let's go to are you guys okay? Go to predictions here.
Go for it.
So just so you guys know, here is also the betting odds for this game. It may fluctuate before the game, but right now the Gophers are at +4. Over under for the game is at 48.
Did it move a full point from open? I saw it was Nebraska -3 at the open last week.
Yeah.
A full point, man. Yeah. Vegas loves taking that Husker money.
I know,
they love that Husker money.
Yeah. But I'll start off so we'll go myself, Griffin, Wyatt, because that's I have the spreadsheet open here, and then I'll go Larranz and Soup, if that's okay. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a closer game than I want it to be. So I'm gonna say 24-21. And Nebraska's kicker shanks the field goal, so it doesn't send the game to overtime.
That would be so beautiful. Anyway.
All right. Let's see here. Let's do... You know, the Gophers offense kind of reminds me of the Taco Bell menu. Because, like, they have 9 different ingredients. Like, how do you want it served today?
I was going to say, it gives you the shits, or what?
Nah. Do you want a Crunchwrap Supreme or do you want a black bean Crunchwrap? Like, let's do 20 Gophers, 20 Nebraska.
Wait, what was the Gopher score again?
28-20.
Okay. Wyatt?
Give me 30-24.
All right. Larranz?
Give me Nebraska 30-21. Look, until Look, if you gonna tell me that one of these freshmen is gonna go for about $140 and a touchdown, I'm gonna say, "Oh, we good." But until then,
You do realize you just were talking about Dalen Wright and, and Chris Op.
Griffin. Griffin, what you
acting like they don't got wide receivers too? Samari Toure, Omar Manning, Xavier Best. That boy is fast. That boy is real fast. Xavier Best. I'm not even that worried about their wide receivers, but them tight ends they got. You want Mariano Marin covering Levi Falk? Is that what you want?
Bring it on.
Wait, no. You want that freshman Jaquandis Burns covering Levi Falk? Is that what you want?
Just hit him hard. Hit him legally.
Hit him hard, hit him legally, and that tight end's gonna be wide open down the field. Zoom. That 30-21. I said what I said.
All right, Sue.
Griffin, what you've just received is a master class in what's called emotional hedging.
I do not appreciate my whole life being called out like. Wait, no. Wait, no. You cannot call that emotional. Sure, we did all right against Purdue. Now Griffin thinks Purdue is overvalued. Fine.
You might want to let me pick before you go on this rant.
We know Colorado is bad. Wait, hold on. What you doing?
I'm picking Nebraska too. I'm saying 34-31 Nebraska, last second field goal.
All right.
Just a heartbreaker.
I didn't say that the Gophers were going to win.
Yeah, you just said 30-24, dog.
I just think
Wyatt said win preseason, so sorry.
I said win preseason, and now we're a few weeks in, and I've seen this Gopher team slowly start to lose players.
So
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think? Martinez kid has got something.
Look, he is liable for one mistake a game, but I will say this. That boy is special. I'll put it like this. If you put him behind our offensive line, the boy's going for like 3,500 yards and 35 touchdowns and running for 1,000 because, bruh, that offensive line of his is trash. Like, I talk crap about our offensive line. Our offensive line has given up 8 sacks. His offensive line has given up 19. Put Tanner behind his offensive line, Tanner would have died a long time ago, is what I'm trying to say. And frankly, the 19 sacks doesn't do it justice because he should have been sacked like 25 times based off of the film I've seen.
Yeah. So the way I see it going is this, right? You finally had PJ Fleck get his first win after being down at the half against Purdue, right? So I think they're down at the half again. I think Nebraska comes out hot. Scott Frost really wants this game. And I just
don't like us.
No, they don't like each other. I just don't like the Gophers. They're going to have to play catch up against like an actual high-powered offense. Like Purdue is good, but I think we got lucky that it was a monsoon in West Lafayette. Otherwise, I think they would have been slinging the ball around the yard. I think it's going to be really tough for them to keep up with the scoring at a certain point, and they're going to have to open up the offense, I think, a little more than they even want to. And I think that game script plays against what they want to do so badly, and just PJ Fleck in general is just such a conservative head coach when it comes to the way they game plan and run their offense that, I mean, they're going to need, I think, like 2 turnovers from the defense if they really, really want to put it away any earlier than that. Otherwise, it's just going to be, I think they're just going to be chasing all game, and they'll tie it up at the end. Nebraska will get one last shot and convert on some field goal or something. And, you know, what'll happen is they'll drop a bunch of guys into coverage, trying to prevent some big third down play to let them get in a field goal range, and then Adrian Martinez will scramble for like 20 yards, and then there's your field goal, right? So it's just going to be one of those days. I feel like we're all going to get our hearts broken, and I am taking the Gophers to cover, though. So I think they take the cover there.
Yeah.
All right.
Man,
I don't think it's a bad idea.
So, I mean, I saw Purdue, and I'm like, okay, we match up well against Purdue. We've matched up well against Nebraska, other than that 55-28 game that we don't want to talk about ever again.
You
Don't
mean
we
the
all take a
one
band trip?
where everyone was dead and then Zach Annexted gets internal bleeding, and that one?
Yeah, maybe that one.
Yeah.
PJ
Have to bring it up.
And so
The
I
game
like
where
his-
we all played Nebraska in the stands at the end of the game.
Better than Nebraska?
It's not
From
really that high of a bar.
Yeah.
from Nebraska.
Oh no. Anyway.
Man, I'm coming off the top rope. I remember when they came in to watch us, and they were like all weirded out by the high step. Remember that?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And then they went down and did their little show, and we were all sitting up there, and they did that shuffle thing, and all of us just looked at each other like, what the fuck? Y'all are making fun of us? What the hell is that? Like,
Whose children are these? I am going to say this. If the first play of the game is an inside zone, I'm going to scream.
oh man.
But if the first play of the game is an inside zone and that thing go for about 8 yards, we beating the dog crap out of Nebraska.
Oh no, Larranz.
I think you're going to see a lot of outside. I think we finally get into the outside zone here.
You trying to have them linebackers moving horizontally? We love to see it.
Oh,
I just
no.
think the backers that we have, like our running backs that we have at this point, are much better outside zone runners.
Hey, that's bad. If it go for 8 yards, hey, I'm here for it. Because, like, as much crap as I talk, I would like to remind once again that outside of Michigan State, which was a brilliant performance, every team that's played Nebraska has been able to run on Nebraska.
Mhm.
Every single one of them.
Yep.
So I'm just out here like,
Yeah. Looking at the game splits right now on defense for them. Michigan State and Northwestern had the least rushing yards against them, but even Michigan State put up 71. But then it's Illinois put up 167, Fordham put up 130, Buffalo put up 135, Oklahoma put up almost 200, and Michigan put up 204.
yeah, so like you can run on them. And with
Yeah.
our offensive line, once again, they don't have a pass rush.
Yeah.
They really don't.
And I don't do a lot of sports betting, but I don't like game to game bets. I'm more of a season long bets kind of guy if I ever do any of that stuff, because I've taken the Nebraska under on wins for about 5 years in a row now, and I cash that out every year.
I do want to mention this too. I do miss this, and I think if this happens on the first play of the game, I'll be happy. Remember our Tyler Johnson and Rashad Bateman's first few plays of the seasons or games, where they just on a slant or a post route ran in for the touchdown, hit their head on the goalpost.
Well,
I want to see
you-
that, but
they got to call those plays for that to
know.
happen.
They got-
That's been the problem.
I'm like, screw that, because they might be looking for that. But if that first play is a slant and go, if that first play is a slant and go, hey, Northwestern got absolutely destroyed. But that Robinson kid, wide receiver for Northwestern, was wide open half the game. Like, dude was just making. Look, hey, Cam Taylor-Britt is a fantastic, fantastic corner. I don't trust a single one of the other corners. I feel like they can get burned with the quickness. And we all know that they're going to put Cam Taylor-Britt against Chris Ottman-Bell and say who's going to be the more violent player. But Dalen Wright, gonna eat, man. Daniel Jackson, gonna eat. Mike Brown-Stevens, go ahead, average 50 yards a catch. I'll take it.
All right. So that wraps up our preview against Nebraska Cornhuskers. Next up, I want you, since Larranz is finally back on air with the podcast, we need your predictions for the rest of the season because we got most of us preseason.
6-6.
Okay.
Believe it.
Or do we not get one because we lost to Bowling Green?
Quick Lane Bowl because tradition.
No.
King is back.
I'm gonna say Pinstripe Bowl, and the band's gonna freeze their butts off out in Yankee Stadium.
But wait, hold up. I am gonna say this though. That all hinges on this game, this particular game, because if we beat Nebraska, 8-4.
On paper, you should rip off the next 4. On paper.
Maryland, Northwestern, Illinois, and Iowa.
Yep.
Iowa?
I'm including Nebraska. On paper, you should rip off the next 4.
Yeah.
Iowa's a different story.
I'm not talking about Iowa.
You know
Chill.
what? I don't care how many weeks in a row they do it. At some point, they gonna run into a team that's not going to give them the ball. All right? At some point, it's going. Penn State should have won that game, and they gave Iowa the ball full time.
That was so rough.
Yeah.
Penn State still should have won that game. Somebody's going or.
Man, Iowa's fans were cheering for were booing injured players. That drove me nuts.
And that nose tackle who got injured for Penn State, he's out for the season. They booed him too. So,
yeah.
You know,
And then Kirk Ferentz comes out and says, "Oh, some of those guys were definitely faking it to slow us down." You play the slowest game script in college football besides us, bro. Shut the fuck up. Like, I'm sick of that. Like, I don't want to hear this. Like, that's Bush League. Like, Kirk Ferentz, like, that whole staff, like, they were mocking people. They had coaches, like, fake falling on the sideline when guys would go down. Like, have some class. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, hot take. They losing to Purdue this weekend.
When, you know what would be really fun? You know what would be really fun? If they think they're making that title run come November 13th, and we just pull that little rug out from under them.
Oh, honestly, the best justice for me would be them making the title game, only to run into the absolute wood chipper that is Ohio State, and say, "Oh, okay. See what you gonna do? What you gonna do when Ohio State's third receiver is better than anything you have on this field? Like, Garrett Wilson is better than Chris Olave, and I think Jackson Smith and Jigba might be better than both of them. So, like, and Travion Henderson is a superhero, which bro's averaging 8+ yards a carry. Like,
yeah, what are you supposed to do? I don't know. It's that, and then, like, man, whoever Alabama plays this week, man, I'd be afraid. I'd be very afraid.
They play Mississippi State.
Yeah, Mississippi State should be fearing for their lives.
Prayers up for Mississippi State.
Who's the head coach for Mississippi State again?
Isn't it
Leach?
Mike Leach? Yeah.
Oh no!
Air raid, baby, air
It's
raid.
the meme king himself.
Oh gosh, yeah. Prayers up for them. Shout out to the Kentucky Wildcats for being 6-0 in the top 10. Shout out to the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who everyone forgets is also 6-0 right now. Good stuff. And shout out to Arizona State University. The reason why I'm shouting out Arizona State University is because next year their quarterback is going to be Spencer Rattler. Somebody got that. Somebody got that one.
Talk about overrated.
Woo!
Remember the time we did this podcast? Soup said he didn't get where Spencer Rattler was.
Yeah, I said that, 2 weeks ago at this point?
2-3 weeks
I
ago,
was
yeah.
going to say that was 2 weeks ago on the last podcast. And then Spencer Rattler shit the bed.
I'm like, not Caleb Williams coming in.
Well, did you hear that they closed down practice today and some dude was on the roof with binoculars like a block away, some football reporter, like saying Caleb Williams was getting first team snaps because they closed down practices to the media.
Oh boy.
Look,
Dude had the
Spencer
tree
Rattler.
stand on top of the Marriott.
I can't stand Spencer Rattler. I saw how he was talking back at the Elite 11 camps. If there was ever a quarterback who I do not root for, it is that condescending little prick. I can't stand him. I can't.
Nah.
How you gonna be the third best quarterback on the field in the Red River rivalry? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
And everyone's like, oh, well, he had that one nice throw. I'm like, did you see who caught that ball? Like 5, that receiver that they have, 5 or whatever he is? That dude is nice. Like,
Indeed.
you just got to put it in a 5-foot radius for him, man. Like,
Random hot take, though, just because I am finishing this paper. If we beat Nebraska, Scott Frost better be fired. Because here's the fun thing. I would argue that the last 2 coaches that have been fired for Nebraska have been fired directly because of the University of Minnesota.
Yep.
Bo Pelini, yeah.
Bo Pelini, we went into Nebraska.
That was after that game where they fumbled in the red zone, right?
That's right.
Yep.
Gave him a good smack. They said, Bo Pelini, you got to go. Mike Riley, he came to Minneapolis in 2017, and Rodney Smith took that opening kickoff.
And
then that was the end of that.
They lost to Demery Croft.
They lost to Demery Croft. That's
Y'all
true.
remember when Demery Croft went for 187 rushing yards in that
We were all
game?
like, what the hell?
I do. Right? And you know what? Scott Frost,
Remember what that
they don't come up to Minneapolis and got absolutely destroyed. Then Minnesota came to them without 30 dudes, and they got smacked. And the only reason it was a 1-score game is because Mo Ibrahim showed mercy.
Yeah.
And
Mo
went down
Ibrahim
at the
said, give me the time of possession.
You know what? I bet you Bucko gonna run into that. Bucko gonna run into that end zone. That's all I'm saying. Look,
Also-
if they lose this year,
Yeah. So since we're on Scott Frost, my least favorite coach in college football, his record since coming to Nebraska is 15-24. You know what PJ Fleck's record at Minnesota is? Because remember that was like the talk, like the year after PJ came. Then Scott Frost went to Nebraska. And everyone was like, "Oh well, yeah, we could be the Gophers with PJ Fleck. Imagine that. That would suck, right?" PJ Fleck since Scott Frost has been in Nebraska is 25-14.
Ooh.
How you win 13 games in one season and then takes you 13 wins or takes you 4 seasons to get 13 wins? Come on now.
you know what?
UCF won't play anybody.
You know what? Someone out here just like this. Oh, but did you see what he inherited? Mike Riley destroyed the program. I'm like, do you see what Mel Tucker is doing at Michigan State?
Yeah, they were supposed to be bottom of the barrel.
Forget that. Do you see what Josh Heupel is doing at Tennessee?
Yeah. That's 100% coaching.
You know what? Forget that. Do you see what Sam Pittman is doing at Arkansas?
Yeah.
Boy, do you see what Graciano is doing at Rutgers? Like,
Yeah.
the excuses that Nebraska gets to make, like, they happen to be in the world. Like, freaking Brett, and I hate Brett, came up in the Big Ten with Illinois' roster, still could be Scott Frost. Like,
Yeah, they lost to Brett Bielema the season opener, too.
Yeah, they did.
Anyway, Scott Frost loses if he don't win. I gotta go.
All right, awesome. Well, that's going to wrap up our podcast tonight, everyone. We're hitting closer to our time limit anyway. So before we go, I'd like to thank you for listening in or watching today's podcast. I think Larranz is going to be at the game, maybe Soup as well.
I will be at the game, yes.
Season ticket holder right here.
Yo, you got an extra ticket, dog?
I could get you one. We'll talk.
Wait, hold on. What?
What do you
Okay.
What do you need one for? What's up?
I need. Don't worry about it. We gonna talk. We gonna talk.
Alright, cut this.
All right. And then Wyatt and I are out. I think Griffin too for this game, but we'll try our best to watch the game when we're
I'll
away.
be on campus.
Yeah.
I'll be 2 blocks away.
Happy law school. Hey, you almost done.
I'm almost done.
Almost done.
Almost done.
All right.
It's the last year.
All right. Well, again,
Go Storm.
everyone, thank you for your time. You see Soup or Larranz at the Saturday's game at tailgate or in the game itself. Feel free to say hi and chit chat about Gopher football and other stuff. And the rest of us will be there at some point as well. But this is just for the Nebraska game. But other than that, thank you for your time. Thank you so much, and we'll see y'all next time. Again,
Oh.